And when I make smaller paintings, like that's one of my paintings. The experiment here is that the Chico's an organization downtown that supports Native Americans and Chicanos and like people like me, so Mexicans. So they asked me like to do a print for Day of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
And my work is not really much in that direction, but I wanted to create my own flowers with like the skull, so like I made something else. And then I ended up using the screens to make this painting. And I just wanted to see how it looked if I printed it on wood as opposed to paper.
So this is considered mixed media art then, right?
Yeah, it's mixed media, but it's mixed media. I use collage. It's the application of paper on anywhere.
So we're seeing a lot of different materials on here. It's not just
I use spray paint, acrylics, oil sticks, silk screen. I mean everything that I can. I think it has it's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's a lot of texture. So what do you look for when you make something like this? Like, when are you happy with the finished work? You know,
I mean, that's a good. I don't think it's in general. Sometimes I feel like I go too far and I ruin a painting, and then like you went too far, and then if you could fix it and go back a few steps, then it's done.
Yeah. Okay.
So like I just know when I just ruined it, you know. so now I just kind of, and maybe I'll try the next time. The next time I do a painting, So I feel like every painting just kind of, it's the beginning of the next painting. So the first one is just the experiment, and I'm like, oh, maybe I like this a lot, and I just keep producing or create a series. And I never intended to create series, but they became series. And the reason I like to make series, it's because I don't know, it's like a challenge to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I get stagnant on creating the same work, that I feel like I'm not growing. But if I keep challenging myself to create different work, then I feel like I'm I don't know, challenging myself to be better, I guess, somehow.
Yeah. No, I think, you're growing off of something you started with. You start somewhere and you say, well, I'm going to take the same concept and kind of grow with it over time. And I think that's a really cool thing. And especially with, you kind of touched on this earlier, but you like to explore things like relationships in your pieces. That's sort of your primary motivation, not so much Day of the Dead or anything like that, but you like to analyze that and explore what that looks like through mixed media. I think that's really cool. And we'll touch on some of these works a little later, because you got, I mean, these are massive pieces. I mean, you're showing us the little stuff right.
I really am interested in.
Yeah.
So I think we all just question those things, and I don't know, like when you're in college and just trying to figure out what to paint about, there's all these subjects that are pretty obvious to me. That, you know, I was from El Paso, living in Juarez, and you're surrounded by a lot of border issues, and a lot of those border issues are pretty heavy subjects, and they always kind of seem obvious because that's where I'm at. So the challenge is, how can I create, or how can I become somebody in the border that's creating different or more abstract work? And I don't know, I was always just in art history classes in school, and I was learning from other artists that live, you know, all over the world. So I was kind of inspired by that, and those subjects too. So that's how I started becoming an abstract artist. I just felt like I really was inspired by these, you know, artists in the 60s and the 70s, and that's how I started. So
that's really, yeah. I mean, these are. Do you mind if could we see a couple more of these over here? I mean, I love. This is. Yeah, this is the one I was looking at last time, because sometimes you'll just change up. Like, it won't just be a consistent, you know, board. Yeah. You'll put different things in there.
This is funny.
Yeah, look at this.
This is a how do you call this?
It's an air vent, right?
An air vent.
Or something like that. For, like, air filter.
So it's like, you can see me there probably. Yeah, it's an air vent. So I have like different things. Like, I just create experiments, and they lead to different things. Yeah, I have these kind of series of works that are pretty strange, and I don't think I really sell those or show them very often.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But,
so for this one, where was the first place you started? Like, how did you know where to even start with
I
this?
did a painting background,
Uh-huh.
and then I started layering and layering and layering, and then it didn't work. And I felt like I needed to do something, so instead of adding, I cut a square from it and took it off.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to like maybe add another painting in the back and add different color to it and see what I could see through it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had like, and then I came up with all these different materials that I can add on here on this. And I don't know why I went out with a filter,
Yeah.
but it just seemed really cool.
I don't know how you thought of that. I'm trying to figure out.
The painting is a matter of suspension. That's all it's doing, you know.
Yeah.
And then this shape right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's very common in my work. It's I can show you this. So this is like
okay.
super typical. So this is a shape that I've been using in my work for like, I don't know, 10 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it started from, let me show you something else.
Sure.
So this is, should I go behind you?
Yeah. Come over here.
So this is the floor at the airport, at the Sky Harbor Airport.
That's right. Yeah, this is you.
And I designed this floor. Took 5 years to complete it. And
that's what this is.
well, that's a variation of this shape.
Okay.
But what it is my work was always mechanical, and I used airplanes in my work, and I used tools like pliers, and then I use water faucets, and I use all these things. And not only do I like those things, but I felt like there was a connection with the idea that mechanical objects don't work unless we apply force to them. And I like that connection because these things are incredible. Like an airplane moves and takes us places, but they don't move on their own. So they still need us for them to move. And it's just like a beautiful, one of those wonders, you know. And the idea behind that is that we have connection with objects. So then I relate that to relationships. And in relationships, sometimes, and not everybody, but if you're in love, you find yourself doing things for somebody else that you wouldn't do for yourself or for anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's the relation, and that's the metaphor with mechanical things. And I just kind of thought, like, sometimes we're mechanical in that way, that we do things for others.
Mm.
And then it's also a story. It's also based on society, because in society we kind of all learn to live with each other to become a better society. So we kind of all need each other. So that's the overall idea. I mean, I can go deeper on that story. But when they asked me to do a floor, how do I incorporate all those ideas onto a floor?
Yeah, that's what.
And so I couldn't really.
It's a loaded one.
I couldn't really decide how to do a floor like a painting with all that content. So
yeah.
So I found myself stripping all these things, all my ideas off of a floor, and I'm like, at the end of the day, it's just shapes. And so, like, I can't speak of my work like of a floor like I do on a painting.
Yeah.
So anyway, like that, I'm making this story really long, but the shapes are the tailplane of an airplane. So if you see an airplane from the bottom and the back, you see that shape. And so I thought, you know what, I really like that shape, and it's still related to airplanes.
Yeah.
And it still relates to my whole story about relationship and mechanical things, and like I just felt like this is the shape. So then I just replicated that shape.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the beginning I was inspired by like 1970s home architecture and colors.
Yeah, it definitely has that kind of retro look to it to an extent.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So now that I came up with all these thinking, I started making paintings with these shapes. So I made a whole series of paintings with that shape. And then later it just became more organic to this shape. And then eventually just kind of became like my personal, one of those things that's in all my work.
Yeah,
you know? So
yeah, like a little signature almost.
like a signature. So I started just outlining things on top of the paintings. And so I use this shape a lot. So that's the story with that.
That's really cool.
Ooh, I need water. Yeah.
You're killing it, man. This is great.
Okay.
I mean, I hope they know you put this much thought into a floor. I mean,
Oh.
I don't think most people put that much thought into any kind of flooring whatsoever. This
Yeah.
is so deep. I love that.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I mean, to speak to a little bit of some of the collections you have, because I definitely want to hop over there, because you have 3 in particular we were talking about, and I noticed that you play with shapes in all of them. I believe the gold collection definitely showcases that, playing with shape. I don't know if I mean, I'm looking at this one in particular up here,
Yeah.
and I see a little bit of what resembles this.
Oh, yeah.
It
you
looks
see
like
that.
it's mirrored a bit.
Yeah, that's it. You see it.
But I see it in there. So can you tell me a little bit about like the gold collection, what this is, and
Yeah. So the do I look at that one or look at over?
you can look at this one. We have some videos. We actually have
Oh, okay.
clips of some of these
Okay,
pieces.
good.
So as you talk about it, we
So,
can get a.
My studio is inside the warehouse, or I shouldn't say that. I share the warehouse
Mhm,
with Ironwood Mills, who sells like these enormous slabs to make furniture.
mhm.
And also I share the warehouse with Organic Living, who's a store that sells all organic materials. And in one of the things they do is they clean rugs.
Mhm.
And so like I'm always working in my space and I see all these beautiful rugs that come in to get cleaned. And so I'm always, doing my paintings and then I see these 2 Navajo rugs come in and they were dirty and they were in really bad shape, And my first impression was like I just felt really bad.
Yeah.
And I felt bad specifically because in the past I was a contractor for art museums. And one of the museums that I worked in was the Herd Museum, which is a Native American museum. And the museums preserve art collections and art and
Right.
rugs. And
Right.
so one of my contracts at some point was receiving these rugs, and I would just kind of clean them and freeze them to try to get rid of any. Oh my God. I don't know. Just so anyway, it's preservation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I did a lot of that,
Mhm.
and I just love these objects because they're just kind of unique. And you see them when you see them hanging on walls.
Mhm.
You see exhibitions of rugs. But anyway, these 2 came in, horrible shape, and they obviously use them as rugs, so they were in really bad shape. So that was what got me the idea to make these paintings. And so I started creating paintings that looked like rugs, but they were also in bad shape.
Mhm.
So I started kind of like creating these kind of burnt edges. And then I wanted to fill them in with gold, like I'm repairing them, like that Japanese philosophy where they have like broken pottery and then they fill in
Right.
cracks with gold.
Mhm.
That's what I was doing. So that's just instead of fixing these 2 rugs that came in, I feel like I could just create my own paintings that look like rugs and then fix them.
Yeah.
And then, so I spend a lot of time creating these kind of beautiful, intricate patterns on the painting. And then the fun of it was ruining it.
So how do you quote unquote ruin a piece then? What's your tactics?
Well, maybe I didn't ruin it. Maybe it was part of the process. But the
Right.
idea was that once I finish the pattern that looks like a wallpaper,
Mhm.
then I splatter paint on it. Like I do something to it that I can't control. So I used fire.
Mhm.
I splatter paint on it I got really high up on a ladder and just kind of threw paint at it.
Yeah.
Gunpowder. That's what I used.
That's
I bought
crazy.
some gunpowder
Yeah.
and then just put it all over, and that was interesting because I didn't know what gunpowder should I buy. 'Cause
Right.
There's all kinds of gunpowder,
Mhm.
and I was kind of nervous because I've never done it myself, and I knew it was gonna explode, so like I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
So I tried it. I bought some gunpowder, and it did work. The explosion happened, but it didn't burn the painting the way that I hoped it ruined it.
Mhm.
I wanted something really. But then I realized that I needed black powder, which is what they use in dynamite.
Oh, okay.
And there's only one place in Arizona that sells it.
Okay.
And then I felt like that's way too dangerous. Like I don't want to start experimenting with dynamite. And so, because the problem was that I know that if I liked it, I know that if I bought black powder and it burned the painting the way that I liked it, then I'm hooked and I want to do more.
Yeah, now you're a maniac.
Yeah, so like I just like I'd rather not go there.
Yeah, don't push yourself to those limits.
Yeah, no. So then, so I just used so I try to paint with acrylic what it looks like an explosion. And so, yeah, that was super fun, and I really like that series. And
I love I mean, you have great works all around, but this is hands down my favorite one, just because of how you put the gold in there, and just how it's layered and the patterns. And I immediately thought of a rug when I saw these too. Like, cool. My brain didn't even hesitate. So I mean, everything you were trying to convey is going on there. Real quick, I'm jumping around just a little bit, but I want people to get an idea of a little bit of what you're talking about on the layering and how you sort of look at a piece as you're working on it. I know you have something. Yeah, go on back there and just give people an idea of. I know this is a work in progress.
So I don't usually show my work in progress because I think it looks pretty bad when I start. But I don't know who's watching, but
OBS crash. But
I'm done.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. One and done.
I'm just joking.
Anyway, you were telling us a little bit about what you had going on.
Yeah.
Here.
So I what is it about? Last year, a friend of mine commissioned me to make 3 paintings for Bank of America.
Okay.
And they sent me all this content of photographs that I can use to create these big paintings for like mural-like paintings for their San Antonio headquarters. And I really like them, and I haven't done that style of work in like 5 years or more. So I kind of like thought like, well, I made them and they were gone, so I want to make some of these for myself.
Right.
But so I was trying to replicate the same process that I used to make those paintings, and I usually don't get people giving me their photographs. So I thought, I usually photograph my own, but since I kind of want to follow the same process, I kind of went over my photographs and I found a picture of the ladies, my aunts and my great grandmother, which is this painting that I'm working on. And so I really liked. Can you see there?
Yeah, I think he's got it.
Like I just liked the way they're sitting, and I just kind of like that they're all together. And so anyway, I decided to use that as a base layer for this painting. But what I do is I don't really know what I do it. I just start, and then I don't know how it's gonna go. So I just start. Like I said, throwing things away. I was just using a spray gun the other day to add all the pink color. And so I like to layer collage to the point that it feels like it's got a lot of depth and layers. And then make it, I don't know, somehow make it work, because it's gotta work visually.
Right.
So when it gets too busy, you need like areas that need to be more flat than others, and so that's what I keep doing. So I have these box, like I save a box.
It's a secret box.
My secret box. So like when I find materials that I feel that are
there's all the
interesting,
gold. All right.
Like this is from a friend's painting.
Oh, okay.
She was like, "Can you throw away that painting?" It's like, yeah. And then I was like, I was peeling away all the paper.
And you're like, I could use this.
And I'm like, I can use this, yeah. So like I have a box of stuff here, like I also, this is interesting.
What is that?
I don't always finish I work on paintings a lot, but then I don't like them. So I throw them away. And so like this one is a painting, and I just cut them in strips, and then later use that for other paintings.
So you kind of recycled the painting that you didn't like into a painting you do like.
So that happens a lot, which is why I don't like showing people my work in process, because they're not always interesting, so they end up like this.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what makes them interesting, because they just keep working.
Just finding new layers.
Yeah, so like this is my box of just crazy stuff. And I have more, like I have, like the shelves have a lot of paper.
No kidding. Like
So I go-
wallpaper or
Yeah, like there's wallpaper on the bottom
yeah,
here.
let's see some of that.
Oh. Yeah, it's really interesting. I order on Amazon and I order stuff on, I don't know, everywhere. I've been on Craigslist and I go to like, so like I
Here's the stash.
have a stash here of just boxes of paper. So
Nice.
yeah.
So you'll just so how do you attach? Do you glue it on, or how do you get those
Oh,
pieces on
I use
there?
gel medium.
Gel me. Okay, so here's a
Yeah, I just have gallons of gel medium.
Uh-huh.
It's like a clear glue and also clear sealant. And yeah, super interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you're very resourceful.
Yeah.
You use a lot of
Like here I am organizing. I also organize everything.
Yeah, I mean it is
Yeah.
organized for it being a lot of random pieces.
Yeah.
You have all the gold organized with the gold and
So you were asking about this. So yeah, that's
yeah.
just something I'm working on, and we'll see where it goes.
So yeah, I mean that's the direction. I mean you said you had some stuff to add on to this, like painting wise, and you know you're adding like some blacks and everything. And what's the goal with that? Like with the colors you want to add next, like why are you adding black? Like are you trying to bring certain parts of this out, or?
You know, I don't know. I just feel like it's every day I come in,
Mm-hmm.
then I think about what's missing. Like I mean, I just sit down for a little bit and look at it, and I feel like it needs some certain areas covered, and
Mm-hmm.
and it just organically keeps changing. So I don't really know where it's gonna go.
That's really cool.
But I mean, that's the part that I enjoy the most, not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's also like, yeah, like I did a painting like this previously. That's like I was thinking about gods. Like last year, with the with all the political issues that were happening, and I don't know, the pandemic. I just felt like a lot of people were expressing ideas about, praying, and a lot of the choices that people make are based on their beliefs. So then they kind of becomes in the way that they vote. And so I was just thinking of that, and then at the same time I was watching a movie the other day about like how the idea of Jesus was created. And I thought that was interesting because a lot of people believe, but then they also don't question how did that start. So then that was a movie that I watched, and then I watched, like a lot of things kept coming based on religion, And I'm like, you know what? I want to make a painting that was all gods together. And then there was like, I think I looked up, and it was like 20 million.
25 million gods, yeah.
Like 25 million gods.
That's a lot of, yeah.
And then there were like 4,000 religions.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And everybody believes that their religion is the one that's the one.
Yeah.
So just based on that idea, I wanted to make a painting with all the gods together. And I didn't want to judge anybody's beliefs. I just thought like, how they say, like, let's just all be friends. Like, what if I just put all the gods together?
Yeah, what would that look like?
Yeah, so I know that in Greece there's the Pantheon, that's where all the Greek gods used to hang out. But there's not really anywhere where all the gods hang out from the different religions.
Aside from your painting.
So, but I couldn't really paint 25,000 gods.
That's a lot.
Which I wish that would be a goal. But I mean, I'm also not super passionate about this topic because it's just not something that I want to get into. But
right.
I did a painting, so that's pretty awesome. It turned
that's
out like a really good painting.
It's a lovely, and it's, again, these are massive pieces. They're not like small little portraits. They are massive spreads. And speaking of which, you have one of the collections we were going to talk about, the Black collection.
Yeah.
I believe you have each one named after a different Mexican god deity. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit?
You probably have better memory than I do as to what they mean. Yeah. I don't. This one, can you see this one?
I think so. Yeah, Brett, you got this? I think he's up there.
I mean, the one with the airplane, this is
We also have clips of these too.
I call it the Black series because it's obvious now. It's got the black color on the bottom. But what they mean is that on the top, you see all these layered collages. And those collages remind me of my work that I did on the past. And a lot of that work that I did on the past had a lot to do with relationships, like we were talking earlier.
Right.
So a lot of those paper objects that I used were instructional materials. So for example, architecture or architectural drawings, they're a symbol of places that we live in that were created by somebody else for us to live in. And it just means that we're not completely free in society, because we still rely on other people to tell us how we live,
Right.
or the door that we go in. Like, we don't create that stuff, somebody else did it for us. It's just a society idea that I had, and there's more to it. Like, there's maps. Maps are guides to society, how to move around, and they're just things that facilitate the way that we move around our society. But I had a lot of these ideas back then, and so that's what the top represents, the top of the paintings. So then the black, it's just like a cloud or something that's glooming over all my things in the past.
Right.
And so that was the idea with those. I'm just basically erasing my past and becoming something new with the black. And then I like the black, so the black just remind me of something powerful, something mysterious. And then because it was mysterious and it was powerful, then I thought about gods. And then then I thought about Aztec gods, because like I should make it related to where I'm from. And then, so that's Quetzalcoatl. And Quetzalcoatl is the god of
Knowledge.
knowledge. Yeah, that's right.
That's the one.
'Cause he's got a really good memory of this. I was really surprised. He knows all the Aztec gods.
I'm into it. I get it.
And it was pretty awesome because he knew all about this.
I think this is, I've never heard someone talk about it like this, especially in the way that you illustrate. I mean, can you tell us why you picked the spaceship and everything then? Because I love your explanation of this.
So I don't know how many paintings I did of these series, but each painting object or color represents the guide. And so they have to relate. So so this is the god of knowledge, and I wanted to relate something to technology. So then I use it's not an airplane, it's the space shuttle. So they just that's where the knowledge comes.
Yeah.
So that's what's Quetzalcoatl. And then I have another one that's like the god of darkness. And the god of darkness is just a gradient of gray to black on the painting, on the bottom of the painting.
It just goes straight down, yeah.
Straight down.
That's
And
so
then I
cool.
have like the goddess of water, and it's like a water pipe. And then so on. There's just so many of them. Like the biggest painting I have. But that's the idea behind them.
Yeah, I mean, I think my other favorite one was the Tonatiuh, the sun god, because you actually did a circular piece. You didn't just do. Yeah, I really.
You saw that online?
That's on the. Yeah, we got the website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got the clip of it too. But
Yeah,
I saw
exactly.
that,
So
and I
you
was
got
like,
it.
yeah, I was like,
Oh,
that's
wow.
a really cool way to show that. You
Yeah.
literally represented it in the shape of the piece itself too.
Right.
So I really.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was so enamored with that. I think my favorite though, like, to jump from one to the other, is the piece next to it. Like we talk about the math.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you did the same sort of idea that you were just talking about, the description of relationships, especially with technology, and you put it in a completely different look now. And I imagine, which one did you do first, the black or the math?
I think I did all of them. I did first the math.
You did math? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so you...
Yeah, that did it. I think I did those in 2012.
Okay. Were they sort of back to back, or did you have them?
No, I did them all at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I had them all at the same time.
were you kind of cross-pollinating ideas and themes because of that?
I think I spent a lot of... So the idea with those, they all should... I mean, my brain can be kind of funny sometimes. Because I think a lot of crazy stuff, so it's not like always super interesting at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
It becomes interesting eventually, but the initial ideas are pretty stupid.
Oh, come on.
But-
You can't. No.
No, but the original idea came because before I was thinking about all these ideas in relationships, and then I just remembered that I hated math, and that's where this idea is just like most people hate math,
I hate math.
and I hate math. But then it's not like I hated it so much. It's just that I couldn't really understand it, so it's difficult
It's how they teach
to
it.
remember it.
Mhm.
It's how they teach it, maybe.
It's how they teach it, man.
So that's where just that is what, like, maybe I should do paintings with something that I don't like.
Mhm.
And I think making art is always an exploration of something you don't like. Maybe you learn to love it.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes. But that's why I said stupid, because that's where the idea came.
That's a good motivation.
But then I couldn't let go of the idea of relationships.
Mhm.
So then I wanted to pair the mathematical equations with relationships.
Mhm.
So then I spent a lot of time looking online for mathematical equations that relate to certain things. So for example, love, like the equation of love,
Mhm.
and they're all reading behind the paintings too.
Can you tell us a little bit about how this one shapes with it then?
Do you think we can take it down?
Do you want to try? If you want to try it, you got a ladder?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, man. I mean, he's got this. I think he's running off into the darkness. You can't see this right now, but he's literally grabbing it. Here he comes. Oh, he's got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Once again, a ladder.
he's like, all right, taking this one down.
Wait, is this gonna be recorded?
Yeah, this is happening. This is happening here. Do you
Okay.
want some?
Well,
are you gonna
maybe
need some help
I'll
here?
just pass it to you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the formula of love, but let's go to the back first.
Where were we going?
The back. I just want him to see this behind. So see, there's a formula.
Oh, you literally put the equation.
This,
My
yeah.
mic.
Where's your mic?
My mic. I just wanted to make sure. So this is the equation right here.
Yeah, and there's 6 of these, and they all have a different formula. Some of
Okay.
them are more intricate, and these are all real. But this is not really a formula of love.
Uh-huh.
It's just like, I love you.
Oh, that's what it means. Okay, so it just makes the literal.
Like texting.
That's beautiful.
So that's just like the equation of love. And then so, I mean, I don't have them all out, but like, this is a variation. Not just live, it's recorded.
Yeah, and we
So
can
like,
edit it
if
too.
only 2 people see it, like they'll be able to see it later.
Yeah, we can edit it and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we're back up. Awesome. All right, cool. Go ahead, Fausto. You're telling us a little bit about how you were layering this and how you shaped it and everything.
Yeah. So there's 5 paintings that measure, I think it's 5 feet from here to here,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's 5-inch borders, and then there's 5 lines that measure the same width. And then the reason that I did 5 is because I didn't want, it's about math, so I didn't want it to be symmetrical, because symmetrical is kind of boring. I just wanted to make it 5, so it's just kind of off.
Yeah. Okay.
And I like things when are off and weird. So I made it 5 on purpose. And then since we're using the mathematical formula of love,
Mhm.
I wanted to relate that to an object. So the object is a rotary phone. And it's kind of broken here in pieces, but you can see the.
Yeah. I'm seeing it.
So it's a phone, and the phone means communication,
Okay.
which then relates to love.
Okay.
And then I just kind of play with ideas like that.
Now the shape here, because you do this with each one of these, I saw it with the Drake equation too, is you have a very specific symbol or shape in addition to the instruments. So what is this one here that I'm looking at?
They're just shapes. I just wanted to make 5 of them. I guess the challenge was to create 5 shapes with 5 lines
Mhm.
that measure the same width. And that's all I did. I just kind of drew
Yeah.
5 lines, and I just kind of went on a napkin or something. And then I just replicated that in 5 paintings.
Wow.
So each one of them is different. It's just a visual thing.
Yeah.
And it's also just my own personal challenge. And so I have the math, then I have the Drake equation,
Yeah.
which is the formula that tells you how much intelligent life there's out of space. And the truth is that one philosopher, I think his name is Peter Brackus.
Okay.
You can find it online. He used that formula to figure out how many girlfriends can he get in his neighborhood in the United Kingdom. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
How many did you get? Did you find out?
No, I don't remember, but it's a whole paper.
Wow, he wrote a whole paper on that.
Yeah, it's like a thesis.
Wow, that's a guy right there.
And then there's like, I have like the formula for the perfect ass. Yeah. And then I have the formula for what else? The scary movie.
The Shining. Yeah. The pentagram, but you said it wasn't a pentagram per se. You were trying to.
It was just
the
a variation of the line.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The Drake equation is the space shuttle because it's out of space. Well, finding life out of space.
Yeah.
And then the perfect ass is a stationary bicycle.
Right.
You know, because like a workout. And then, yeah, that's pretty funny. And then I know. See, I love this series because it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I love your brain is just you love to improvise and jump. You cross connect things that you never would expect.
I love when I was showing at museums this piece, and I tell the old ladies that it's like the ass, and like, oh, they love so much.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is. I mean, between this and the goal. I mean, honestly, all three of these collections are my favorite. I mean,
also have.
They're so cool, but.
What was the other one? Shining.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, it's a whole series, but yeah, that's the idea behind this series. Then I have this and the gold and the black. I did portraits too, like this one behind me.
Yeah, this one was. I mean, an excellent. Yeah, we can put this.
I'll
you got
put
it
over here.
Okay, he's got it. We're gonna grab this as well so we can see.
Oh, I have another series. I have the crowd series.
Oh, really? Is that up here anywhere you can point to? I mean, there's
that one right there. I don't know if you can move the camera here.
I'm sure we can.
I don't have a lot of these anymore.
Okay.
But in 2000, when I was in LA, I moved to. I got a residency in Anthony, New Mexico.
Okay.
At La Union, New Mexico, which is called the Border Art Residency. And they will give you 10 months to live in an enormous warehouse, a loft that my professor in college started. And it's called the Border Art Residency, and his name is Ray Parrish. He was my sculptor professor. So they invited me to do a residency near the border where I was born and raised. So after I finished my residency, anyway, that's a long story, but I found a place to live in New Mexico after my residency, and they told me I couldn't move in for 2 months. And I have to figure out what to do for 2 months without having a place to live. So I went on a road trip for 2 months to visit all my friends. It was pretty fun, and I drove to Santa Fe. I came to Phoenix, I went to LA, I went to San Francisco, I went to Portland, and then back, really slowly. So I didn't do any art on purpose. I didn't want, I love art, but I don't want art to be always.
You gotta take some space sometimes.
Yeah, I need to take some space. And, but I can't stop it. So I like photography. And I just took a bunch of pictures for 2 months, and I was not making art. But when I got back, I realized that I had a bunch of pictures of different public events where there was a lot of gatherings of people.
Wow.
And I'm not sure psychologically if this was the reason, but the funny thing is that I was living in Anthony, New Mexico, where there's nobody. It's like really small town, and my social life was just like really small there. So, and then here I am paintings of people.
Right, crowds and such.
Crowds.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that's kind of interesting that it was happening at that moment. So anyway, I did a whole series of people in crowds of people. And then I just think they're interesting because now the pandemic happened.
Yeah, now it's like...
it's really surreal to see these paintings of people gathering at parties and events. And I don't know, it just kind of takes a different life or don't know, they're interesting. But I don't have a lot of those. Fortunately, they're sold. But yeah, I still have a few. But
So-
yeah, that was really awesome. Oh, so water. Oh, yes, yeah. I'm just thinking of water.
You gotta hydrate, man. You're in the desert.
Where's
I
your guy that
understand.
brings me the water? Just kidding.
Yeah, where's the PA for that? We don't have it in the budget this week. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. That's it. No PA. That's not.
No. Oh, so anyway, that's. I guess I was gonna tell you about.
You were gonna
these.
tell me about this one, yeah.
Yeah. So what I do with the crowd series and what I do with these is that I photograph. I do my own photographs, and then I transfer these photographs onto my canvas. So it just kind of allows me to use photographs and people in my work,
Yeah.
which I didn't use for many years in the past.
So it's kind of a newer thing you've added to your.
Yeah,
That's
like a new
cool.
layer onto my work.
That's really cool.
So this is my friend Jay. I photographed her. We actually had a photo session,
Okay.
and I just met her at a bar with some friends. We were all kind of hanging out, and I was like, "Wow, I need to photograph you." So I did 2 paintings of her. There's one showing at the. There's a little tiny gallery behind the Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts,
Oh, okay.
and I have a show there. And the other painting is really beautiful, it's showing there. And this is the second one of her. And so, yeah, so I put it here so I can have a good background.
Yeah, no, it's a gorgeous. I mean, I just love how the paint splatters on it. Like that's
Yeah.
just so cool. And I loved what you said earlier, where you don't actually feel in control of these things when they happen. You're just hoping that with what you're doing that it'll tie together.
Yeah.
And I love that you have like a lot of the art that I see and people I talk to. They're very like planned and synchronized, but you go in such an improvised direction, and I think that's my favorite
Yeah.
kind of art. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna go with these.
It's amazing. Real quick, I want to round things off because you're talking a lot about relationships and you're essentially taking all these different elements and putting them onto a canvas, and the space you're in is kind of the same way. You're looking at something that's very collaborative. Can you tell me a little bit about like the relationship you've been having here with Ironwood Mills and Ironwood Yoga?
So I was I needed to move really quickly right after my residency.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for a place in Arizona that I can start working again. And I got this email from Scott Mills, who's the owner of Ironwood Mills. He's the guy that builds all the furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know him, but somebody referred me to him, and then he messaged me on Facebook, and he said, "We have a space here that might work for you if you're interested. Come and check it out."
Mm-hmm.
So came and check it out. And it was an open space, people working around me. I had to get used to the idea of having all these people working around me.
Right.
At the beginning, it was a little challenging because I didn't know them. But then once I knew them, I'm like, wow, these people are super cool. So I didn't intend to be here for that long, but I ended up hanging out with these people, these friends now. So Scott Mills is working just behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Kid and Mike, who are the guys, the staff, I guess, of the company. And then Scott started Ironwood Mills, and then him and Leah, which they're a couple, Leah started the yoga studio behind this wall, which is a really beautiful space.
Yeah, we saw it earlier.
And
It's
Leah
incredible.
teaches yoga classes there.
Mm-hmm.
They had to stop because of the pandemic,
Right.
but it's called Ironwood Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ironwood Yoga is now renting the space for different events. It's just a beautiful space. And she allowed me right now to also have a group show for a lot of artists for ArtLink.
Yeah, that's so cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how that works? I know we didn't plan on talking about ArtLink, but I think it's worth mentioning what you're doing there and how that works.
Yeah, so ArtLink, for the most part, it was just happening downtown Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But now that there's a pandemic, they're doing everything virtual now.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives the opportunity for a lot of people to participate that are not just in downtown Phoenix. So my studio is in Sunny Slope. So some friends invited me to participate with them in downtown Phoenix. And in return, I said, why don't I have a show with you guys in Sunny Slope? We can make it live, real,
Mm-hmm.
and then shared virtually, or you can come visit. And it's called the, you can look it up in Phoenix Urban Guide, and it's called the Happy Mustache Art Collaborative. Yeah, actually, it's called Happy Mustache because we have a friend of ours who's on the show too, Joe. And I mean, if he's here, we just like to make fun of him all the time.
Nice.
Because he's a funny guy. He's the funny guy, and then we just make fun with him. So he's got a mustache, and he's always a good-looking guy with his mustache. So we just call it the Happy Mustache based on him. So yeah, so he's on the show too, and then so you can come visit. It's gonna be all month until the 30th. Check on dates or stop by, and yeah.
That's really cool. So how are you hoping to, I mean, you're planning on staying put here for a little while. How are you hoping to grow with this space? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish with, you know, all your work and inspiring these people? Like, what's the goal for you there?
Well, I think it's really good to be here through the pandemic. I get to just be around all these people every day and not be isolated at home through the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is all I do. I just come here and work, and everybody's distanced here because everybody's doing their own thing.
Right.
So it's not like we're hanging out. But I just love coming here. I think it's really, it's made it a lot easier for me to, through the pandemic. And also, I think Ironwood Mills is starting to grow more. Hopefully they'll take over the whole building. And if they do that, I guess I can grow too with them. I don't know. We have a lot of plants together. They're starting different plants, and we're all just a collaborative here, really. We're all just like doing everything together. They allow me to show in their space. They allow me to have shows. I get to photograph over there. I like the high ceilings. It's really cool. It's really, I don't know what else to say about that.
No, I think that the reason I bring that up is because I think that's sort of the move that needs to happen for a lot of these smaller plazas, especially in Phoenix, is that they're all starting to work together and they create their own co-op space, and it's this nice exchange of art but also practical uses, you know, like haircuts or even in this case wood shop or whatever it is, you know. And I think that's a really cool thing that you're doing that here, and it's just North Phoenix, you know?
It's really cool. You know, we have an organic living store next to us.
Yep.
It's all organic, and then we have yoga, so I feel like it's all wellness. And then I don't know, it's a good environment to be around people.
For sure.
It's like everybody's happy, you know. I don't know how it would be to like be around. I don't know. You can think of something.
Less than
McDonald's employees or something.
Yeah, they definitely don't have these in a McDonald's.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
this is super nice, and I learn a lot from people around here.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it. It seems like you have a great exchange of practices and skill sets. So this is great. I wanna start wrapping up a little bit. Do you want to work on some of this?
Well,
Are you down with that? I mean, I don't want to, you know, I know your brush dried out earlier.
So just so everybody knows, I was working on this painting when you guys showed up because it was taking like 2 hours to set up. So I was just wanting to cover this area in black, but you told me to just fill it up right now.
I would love to. I'm dying to see you just go in on
but
something.
But it was just. This is something that I'm just still working on, and I just didn't want to work on something too involved while I was waiting.
Right.
But I was thinking to break the image with black to give the painting a visual rest with a flat color. And I was going to fill in this whole thing with black. But then I realized that if I go with black, then I'm going to go over her hair that is black. And then it's going to look like a weird ghost. So like I decided to use some green first, and then it's going to kind of create like an aura. But this is not going to look really interesting. I just wanted to cover like I have to do this many layers and let it dry.
Right.
But I was just going to go over this whole thing first. And I cover the whole base with whites just so that the colors pop. But I'm basically just adding layers, and then after this, I'm gonna probably spray or glue things, and yeah. So you get the idea.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I don't know. I always enjoy watching people paint. I always enjoy seeing that. Even if it's like, oh, well, I'm only adding one layer. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you see the care and the technique every single time, even if you're just adding like a splotch or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And it's funny because after you pointed this, because I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
But now that I see it everywhere. I see it in all your work now.
Oh, you see it here now?
I see it in here. Yeah, you got it. You're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
But I'm looking at it because before I'm like, what are those stencils of? And now, literally during this whole thing, I'm like, oh, okay, he's doing this. Oh, look at that. It's already changed so much. Just by adding the black.
Right?
Wow. That is a completely different look.
So then, yeah, I have to like get other colors to make that.
Wow.
Yeah, so you get the idea.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool, actually.
That's very clean.
Yeah.
So how I asked you this before because you're not someone who works on all of it at once. You take some time away from it. You revisit. How many times do you think like are you gonna go home tonight and think about like other techniques for this, or how does that come to you? Where do you go from here?
No, I think I just when I and you know, this is interesting. In my studio here, it's my creative studio, but at home it's my office. So at home I do my emails, my taxes.
Yeah.
And so I leave everything that's creative and work related, art wise. I leave it at the studio, and I just go home, and I mean I have to deal with taxes this right now, and then. Applications of shows and
Right.
Photography, cropping, Photoshop stuff, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do at home.
You keep that at home, okay?
Yeah. So and then I try to wake up early. I enjoy the mornings. I enjoy breakfast and I enjoy coffee. You know, like so that's my happy moments are in the mornings. So I try to get as soon as possible to my studio because that's when I have the most energy. And then I just come to the studio and I just usually start getting tired around, 4 or 5, but just because I'm standing, walking around it so much.
You're moving all day, yeah.
And so that I get tired and, so I go home and then just work on other stuff.
Well, that's still really cool. I love that creative process. I think that you have, I don't know, I'm so fascinated with everything that you've been doing. And we didn't even scratch the surface. You've done city pieces, like large.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, there's so much stuff we could talk about with you. I mean, we have to wrap up, but I'm just saying, like, you have such an expansive.
I do city commission public art, like the floor. I did a big culvert pipe that's at the Alamar community. It's just a big pipe that you can go in the park.
Yeah.
And then Helios Educational Foundation, I just took me 2 years to create this kind of wiggly sculpture that's hanging on a wall made out of ceramic tile. Things in California. I've done some community engagement projects where I involve communities to create projects.
Oh, okay.
So they're like really, really big projects. And when I say public art, I've never done murals, but I mostly get, like fabrication and things that take a long time. So
do you have anything like that planned here in the coming months? Do you have anything like
I just
that?
finished 2 last year. They were pretty big.
Yeah, so
I was just like barely out of those.
You're chilling with that.
You're just chilling right now, yeah. I mean, hopefully
really cool.
there's more. But they take like a long time, and even to get them, it's really competitive.
I bet, yeah.
So I'm applying for them, and hopefully I'll get them.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so you can see everything on my website.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say if there's, do you have any upcoming installations or places people can go to check your work out? Or
you can come here on Saturday. I mean,
hey.
You can come here every day. It's just that Saturday seems to be like an open day for most people, and I'm going to be here from 10 to 4.
Okay.
And I just Google Ironwood Yoga Studios and you get the address.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, you can visit my studio here, then you can see the show that I just put together. And then you can see my work at the, the Artling show. That's the
Yes.
Foundry Hotel. Has about 80 artists in there.
Mhm.
So I got a painting there.
Nice.
I have a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's one at the Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts, but
Mhm.
I believe it's closed still. Maybe opens again next month because of the pandemic. I might have a show at the Ice House in a couple of months,
Oh, okay. There's something. Yeah.
but
okay.
I have to confirm that.
Okay. Well, keep me
so-
posted because
yeah.
I definitely want people to come out and I think it's really cool that you're inviting people to come check out your space because
Yeah.
this is worth, you guys should come out, see what he does, see him at work. I mean, this is so fun.
I think they're saying to wrap it up.
Yeah, is that it?
But,
all right. I'm getting that.
I
that.
bet everybody's asleep at home too. Holy shit.
Well, Fausto,
I just. It's that.
I appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank
we
you
gotta
for your
go.
time. All right, wrapping. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Tune in next week. This has been a great time. Thank you again, Fausto, and we'll see you next Thursday. Thank
Okay,
you.
See you later.